All right, so now we are going to go ahead and create our first component. And if you don't know what a component is in Angular 4, all it is just the things that make up what you see on the screen when it comes to your Angular application. So our component here, all it has is our Mikey. And let's go ahead and just make a component and get down to it. So we're going to make a new file, and we're going to call that file dog-details.components.ts. And that's just a way to make sure that anytime you look at your Angular application files, you'll know that dog details is definitely a component. So now, right up here at the top, we're going to import component, and that's going to be from Angular Core. And then we're going to go ahead and create our component using the component decorator component, and then we're going to open some curly brackets or parentheses, and then curly brackets. Then inside here, it needs an object with all the things that a component needs. The ones that are non-negotiable, you always need this for components, is the selector, and that's just how Angular knows how to put this on the screen or where to put this on the screen is you use this selector. And it's usually a CSS selector. And what that means is that this could also be dog details, the class or the ID or the attribute, but we're just going to make it the element itself. Next thing that components always need is also a template. Now you can use template or you can use a template URL, which is what app component uses, but we're just going to use a template for now. And that's just the HTML that is behind your component. And that is basically all it needs. There's a few other things that we could use, like styles and all that, but for right now, we're just going to use that. Now we're going to go ahead and export this class that we were making here, and we're going to call it dog details components. Perfect. So now we've made our first component, but it doesn't really have much in there. So let's go ahead and our template inside of these backticks right here. We're going to just put a h2. So h2. And inside this H2, we're going to put dog details for now. Great. So now if I go to the application, let's go ahead and make sure we're running ngserve, ngserve, and then we head on over to our application. You'll see that nothing's changed. We haven't actually added it to our app component, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger for you guys. And then we're gonna go to our app components.ts. Goodbye. App components.ts. And you see we can't do it here because it's in the template URL. So let's go to the template URL, app components.html. And we're going to go ahead and add it right down here. We're going to say dog dash details, open and close. And that's how you would add your component using that or the CSS class that you used. Now, if we do this, you see that we still won't see anything. We actually might even get an error, and that error is going to say that they didn't know what the dog details component is, and that's because we haven't added it to our module, our app module. So if we go to our module and we go ahead and import it here, it's going to be called dog details, and we import that from here, dog details dash component, and then we have to import it into our declarations. So then we say dog details component here. And now if we go back to our application, you see that boom, we have our component dog details. All right, so there's a few things that I want to do in dog details. And this first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to that file and we're going to change dog details to just be a name of a dog. So we're just going to say name for now. So, and then down here, we're going to make that. I'm going to say name equals max. So now if I save that and we go back to the application again, you'll see that we have max there. Perfect. And now we have created our first Angular components. All right, so now that we have dog details, we can also just go back to our app component and say dog details a few more times. And this is what we really want to do. We want to make components that we can use over and over again instead of having to, you know, make a component for each kind of dog. But right now, all our dogs are named Max. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to change that inside our app component by sending in inputs.